Welcome back to another episode of Bullyball. As you can see, I am not in Florida anymore. Joseph's back home. Got our usual backgrounds, ready to roll. How you doing, Joe?
Doing good, OTA start this week. We're finally getting back to some football.
So in this episode, we're gonna talk about some of our takes for the roster as well as the team in general. Might be a little hot takes. Some might be regular, but we'll let you guys decide. Alrighty, let's get into it.
Tony Montana, Tony Montana, Tony Montana, check up by my ear. Tony Montana, Tony Montana, Tony Montana, I'm about to call the...
Before we jump into these takes, I just wanted to say go check out our Tarell Brown interview. It's a great interview. Gave some great perspective on the team back in the day and even now with the Trey Lance and Jimmy G situation. So go take a look at that. We also interviewed Jason Poe a couple weeks ago. So obviously he's on the team right now. He gave some good insight before the draft. Go take a look at that.
I'll try to drop some links right up here about now. So
if you guys can't find them, you can look in the page and you'll see them down there. Also, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. We're almost at 50 subscribers. I think once we hit 100 subscribers, we're going to do a little giveaway. Our dad does some painting, some good custom painting. So we might try to give away a little helmet or something. So stay tuned once we hit 100 subscribers. Yep. So we're going to jump into it. Rookie minicamp finished up like last week, I believe. Nothing too crazy news-wise coming out of that. But we're going to do some takes right now for this upcoming season regarding players and the team in general. Do you have anything you want to touch on before we start?
Yeah, so we're doing these takes before OTAs start because, the team's going to start getting together. You're going to start seeing, who you think or who the team thinks is going to be starting at what spots. They're going to start putting the roster together, people who aren't going to make the team. So we're doing it now to see if we can project what we think is going to happen. Obviously, going to have injuries, unforeseen stuff that we can't predict. So it's going to be fun. Let us know your hot takes for the season and let us know if you agree with us on our hot takes.
It looks like we might be having some connectivity issues, so bear with us. If we tune out a second, stay with it. Alrighty. So our first take that we are going to do is going to be the breakout player of the year for the 49ers. Joseph, go ahead. I'll let you kick that one off.
All right, so my breakout player, and when we say breakout player, we're not saying Trey Lance. We're just not going to say him because that's going to be the obvious one. We're trying to give you guys takes that are a little different, you know what I mean? So my breakout player this year is going to be Trey Sermon, a guy that a lot of people are saying is he even going to make the team. He might be cut. And I think he is going to be the breakout player. I am forecasting, the running back room, you're going to have injuries. And that's just a matter of fact. So he may not start the year as the starter, but I believe, he's been working on exactly everything the team wanted him to this offseason. He put out a video of him training. Looked pretty explosive to me. And I think, he's going to have a chip on his shoulder because he felt disrespected last year. Also, you bring in Ty Davis Price. That's disrespectful to the man. So I think he's coming. And my hot take with my breakout player is Trey Sermon leads the 49ers in either rushing yards or rushing touchdowns this year. One or the other. I'm not saying both. I'm saying one or the other. Hot take.
Wow. Yeah, definitely a hot take for sure after what Trey Sermon did last year. That's interesting. My breakout player isn't going to be as debatable like that one. But my breakout player for the 49ers this year, this one's tough because I feel like there's a lot of players with great potential this year that can break out. But my player is going to be Maurice Hurst, D tackle. I think he has all the talent in the world to be a Pro Bowl player every year. It's just if he can stay healthy. And I think this year he will stay healthy. He's going to dominate in that middle. He doesn't have DJ Jones, who he has to compete with. The next spot next to Eric Armstead on the interior is wide open. I think Mo Hurst is going to take advantage of that. He's going to put pressure on the quarterback, going to get a few sacks. He's going to be great in the run. Like I said, he has all the potential in the world. When he got cut from the Raiders, everybody was like, why did they just cut him? He was the one that was supposed to have the Arden Key type year last year, but injuries happened and he didn't get a lot of playing time. But this year, I think he's going to come out, show what he is. He was supposed to go early in the draft, but he had like a heart issue, so he slid a little bit. But I think this year he's really going to show what he's all about. And another hot take to go with that is he will make the Pro Bowl this year. Calling a Pro Bowl year for Mo Hurst.
So you're saying Mo Hurst is going to start over Kinlaw this year also?
Hey, I don't know if he'll start over Kinlaw, but he'll definitely be splitting reps and getting a good rotation in with Kinlaw, Armstead, and Mo Hurst.
I think that's probably a hotter take than mine, if I'm being honest with you.
See.
All right. So next we have our bust player, and we're not saying, we obviously don't want anyone on the team to not perform well or not, be great. But who is your player that you think is not going to do as good as expected?
This one's tough because a lot of factors that go into it. Obviously, the obvious one that everybody's saying right now is Talanoa Hufanga, but we're not going to touch on that. This one's tough, I have a hard time projecting this one, but I'm going to say my bust player of the year. I just had him up. Where'd he go? Give me 1 second. My bust player of the year, I'm going to say, is Dre Greenlaw. That's not too hot of a take, but I think last year when Azeez Al-Shaair was healthy, that Azeez played better than Greenlaw did. I think it was the Cowboys game in the playoffs, and Dre Greenlaw had like 2 stupid penalties. Just like dumb penalties. He obviously struggles to stay healthy a bit too. Last year he missed a lot of time, like I said. But I think Fred Warner and Azeez Al-Shaair will win those primary spots. Even when it comes to like nickel downs, I think that Azeez is going to be in over Dre Greenlaw. So my bust player of the year is Dre Greenlaw.
It's an interesting take. I like Greenlaw, but I agree Azeez was better than him last year. My bust player, I don't know if you would say like it's a hot take, but he's a guy that they paid a pretty penny to this offseason, that you would consider wide receiver 3 money to me. And they're expecting him to be your starting kick and punt returner, Ray McLeod. Dude struggles terribly with fumbles. I'm pretty sure he led the league or was close to it last year in fumbles. And, the 49ers paid him like a wide receiver 3, like he's going to be on the field a lot. And I don't think he is. I don't see him on the field more than Jawan Jennings or even Danny Gray. I believe Danny Gray is going to play more than him. And I'm telling you, he fumbles once or twice. That man ain't seen the field again with Kyle Shanahan. So that is my bust player of the year. Not really a hot take in my opinion, but
yeah, I was gonna say I feel like that's low hanging fruit for the bust player, but that's all right. Because I know a lot of people are kind of down on him for the same reasons about the fumbles and everything like that.
Yeah.
So our next one that we're gonna get into is the surprise player to make the team. So this one for me, I kind of touched on it in the last pod that we did. My surprise player to make the team is going to be tight end Troy Fumagalli, who we just signed off of a tryout at rookie minicamp. He's been in the league for a few years, hasn't really been able to come out, hasn't realized his potential. He's been hurt a decent amount. But I heard he's a pretty good blocking tight end. And I remember his college tape out of Wisconsin. He was a pretty good receiving tight end, too. I thought he definitely would have made some noise in the NFL. But he hasn't so far, but that's all right. I think he will make the team. We don't have a lot of depth, quality depth at tight end, you could say, because we have Kittle, obviously. Kittle's Kittle. You have Charlie Warner, Ross Dwelly. Ross Dwelly fell off at the end of the year. Warner played more than him, but Warner was a blocking tight end strictly. You might have seen like 1 or 2 catches. I think Fumagalli has better receiving ability than both of them. And then you have Jordan Matthews, but he was on the practice squad all year. So I think Troy Fumagalli is the surprise player to make the team this year.
Fun fact with him is he's missing a finger.
Yep.
If you didn't know that. I think it was from birth or something, but not 100% sure. I like that one. My surprise player to make the team. Now this ties in with the same thing as I said with Trey Sermon. Our running back room gets banged up. Whoever's on the roster right now ain't always going to be there because injuries be happening a lot. So my surprise player is undrafted free agent Jordan Mason, running back from Georgia Tech. The dude has talent. You could see his clips on like Twitter of him breaking off some pretty long runs. But he's coming from a wing T style offense, which, they're crowding the line with run defenders. So he isn't going to look as good in college in that type of running game because he's facing 8, 9, 10-man boxes all game. And then I believe it was Grant Cohn that said at rookie minicamp he had nice hands out of the backfield catching the ball. So I believe he's going to beat out Jermichael Hasty in the back end of the roster for the practice squad spot. And then I believe there's probably going to be an injury early on that's going to force him up onto the roster when it comes time to start the regular season.
That's a good one as well. That is a good one. Our next take will be the best rookie. This one's tough because I feel like besides the top rookies that we've taken, the other ones aren't going to get a lot of playing time. So, you have like a Drake Jackson, Danny Gray, Sam Womack, who knows how much time he's going to get. Ty Davis Price, who knows how much he's going to get. So, in my mind, I'm going between Drake Jackson and Danny Gray. But I am going to say the best rookie is going to be Drake Jackson. I'll take the easy one right here. I think his speed and bend coming off the edge opposite of Bosa is going to be big. They're going to keep him up around 270, 275, so he'll have the power. Like we said, he has the athleticism, the speed, the bend. So I think he'll do a pretty good job in his rookie year. There's a lot of talent on the D-line that is going to take attention away from him. You have Armstead, Kinlaw, Mo Hurst, Bosa on the other side, among the many other Kamiko Toure. You have all these players, He'll be able to stay fresh so he's not getting winded throughout the game. And I think when he comes in, he'll really be able to use that speed. And that's going to be my best rookie for this year.
So mine, I went very hot take on this one because, like you said, you could win Drake Jackson. That's an easy one. Ty Davis Price is an easy one as well. Running back, going to get a lot of carries. But since I said Trey Sermon was my breakout player, I can't really say Ty Davis Price. I'm going with the boy Spencer Burford, best rookie. Don't think he's going to start the year starting, but I think we might see Mike McGlinchey struggle. And, the interior spots, it's going to probably Banks, maybe Brunskill. They said Jalen Moore might play some guard. I don't know what position Spencer Burford's going to play, but I believe at some point this year, he's going to be in a starting role and he's going to do pretty good. And so could be right tackle, could be one of the guard spots. Don't know, couldn't tell you, but I think he's probably going to surprise us a little bit.
Yeah, that's a good take too, because like you said, McGlinchey, you don't know what you're really getting back with him. And even before the injury, he was never that like solidified tackle. He was always getting bull rushed and just blown up.
Exactly.
So who knows what you're going to get, especially coming off a torn hamstring. So yeah, I could see that take definitely happening. Our next take is going to be the overall team hot take of the year. So I'm going to go extremely hot on this one. Extremely hot. I'm going to say that the 49ers go undefeated in the NFC West. So they're going to beat the Cardinals twice, beat the Seahawks twice, and beat the Rams twice. We've had extremely great success against the Rams in the past few years. Obviously, we lost last year in the NFC Championship, but before that, we were 5-6-0, something like that, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to say we're going to continue that dominance over them this year. Seahawks don't have Russell Wilson anymore, so I think we should beat them. And then the Cardinals games are tough. You have the one in Mexico and then the one in Levi's. But I think they'll sneak out of those ones with some dubs, and we'll go undefeated in the NFC West. Obviously, I'll say that we'll win the NFC West as well. We'll beat the Rams for the NFC West, and we'll be first.
That's bold as hell.
Yep, told you.
We'll see what happens.
Extremely hot on this one.
My take, probably not that hot, but when you consider the 49ers have the 5th hardest schedule this year in the NFL, they play the AFC West. You're playing Devontae Adams. You're playing Patrick Mahomes. You're playing Russell Wilson, Justin Herbert, and the NFC West. You play Tom Brady this year. You're playing crazy, crazy offensive talent. And the 49ers are still going to have the number 1 defense in the league this year. Overall defense. Even playing all that talent. I think you could argue that the 49ers defense isn't as good this year. A lot of people are saying that because they lost starters, obviously, Tart and Kwan Williams, DJ Jones, and they say, all right, yeah, not good. The 49ers gained lockdown corner Charvarius Ward. You could like him, you could hate him. Advanced stats say the dude's lockdown. And you'll see one of my other hot takes here in a minute that supports what I'm saying here. 49ers don't force a lot of turnovers, even when they are good on defense. I think that changes this year. They have 17 D linemen right now, and they're going to be ridiculous. Whichever ones make the team, it's going to be ridiculous. You know what I mean? They're going to be getting pressure a lot, especially if Mo Hurst makes the Pro Bowl like you're saying. Arguably the best linebacking core in the NFL. Deep corner group. You might have question mark at slot and one of your safety spots, but we'll get to that. That's my hot take.
Yeah, that's a hot take for sure, because we do play a lot of great offenses this year. Chargers, Raiders, Chiefs, not to mention the Cardinals are still the Cardinals. They have a good offense. Rams still have a good offense, like you said, the Bucks. So that's a hot take.
Saints, ton of talent, even though they have Winston.
But the Niners did add a lot on defense, like you said. Charvarius Ward. You still have Emmanuel Mosley. You brought back Jason Verrett. If he can be healthy, he's going to contribute. Like Dre Greenlaw, who I think is going to be a bust, but you still have Fred Warner and Aziz. The D-line is ridiculous, and that's what we're going to transition to next is the leading sack person of the year. Obviously, we're not going to mention Bosa because Bosa is most likely going to be the leading sack person of the year. This one's tough because, like we said, we don't really know the rotation, how that's going to pan out. Like I said earlier, Drake Jackson, I thought it's going to be a really good rookie, have a good rookie year. I think there's going to be like a tie for second who's going to be there, maybe among 2-3 people. But I'm not going to say Drake Jackson. I'm going to say it is going to be Kamiko Toure. Last year, he had like 5.5 sacks. I think you put him with Chris Kasarik, the D-line coach, and he's going to have a great year this year. I think he's going to have a great year, probably upwards. I'll say somewhere in the range of 7 to 9.5 sacks, I think, for him, which I think could happen if Kasarik can really bring out his full potential. So, yeah, my second leading sack leader, I guess you could say, is Kamiko Toure.
Did you see the video of him at practice with the 49ers?
No.
Like it was just him and like some coaches out there training. He had pretty nice bend out there. It looked pretty good. That is also who I had picked. But since you picked him, I'll go ahead and I'll give another bold hot take because that's what we're doing today. This one's just coming off the top of my head. Samson Ebukam gets beat out as the opposite starting D end by Charles Omenihu this year. That's my hot take. I don't know how he does sack wise, but in the limited reps, that dude was a dog out there. You know, if he had more reps, I think he probably would have had like 5 or 6 sacks last year. And he was brought on halfway through the year. He looked like a legit starting 3-down D end when he did play. So I'll give that hot take since we both agreed on the sack leader.
Yeah, that's a good one too because he was going to be my breakout player, but then I went with Mo Hurst. But I probably should have went with Omenihu just because of who's in front of Mo Hurst. But yeah, I think Omenihu has great potential, and he showed a lot last year, especially in the playoffs. He really came on pretty well at the end of the year.
Especially against the run. Like he legit looks like an early down player at least.
I agree. That is a good one. All right. Moving on to the defensive backfield. We're going to touch on the leading interception leader. This one's tough because, like we said earlier, the Niners don't really get a lot of takeaways, especially interceptions. I would say Charvarius Ward, but I think he's going to be so locked down that he's not going to get the ball thrown to his side a lot. I think they're going to try to pick on like a Emmanuel Mosley or whoever's on the other side. So I'll say the leading interception player this year is going to be Jimmy Ward. You know, Jimmy Ward is a player I love. He's great in the box. He's great over top. He has that range. He's rangy. He can get sideline to sideline. And I think that he's going to take advantage of that and kind of lead the 49ers in interceptions this year. So safety, Jimmy Ward is going to be my interception leader this year.
It's a good one. He did have a lot more interceptions probably the most he's had in his career this past year, if I'm being honest. But I'm going a different way. So like I said, 49ers number 1 defense going to force a lot more turnovers this year. And if you look back and you think, who is the one DB that kind of was not really a ball hawk, but, you know, he was always around the ball when he was playing? Tarvarius Moore going to start opposite of Jimmy Ward this year over Hufanga and George Odom. It's my take. And he's going to lead the 49ers in interceptions. If you remember, he intercepted Patty Mahomes in the Super Bowl. I think he's going to be playing, starting opposite Jimmy Ward, and he's going to be erasing the mistakes like you expect a safety to do that we haven't had in a long time. We'll see how he is coming off that. What was it, Achilles injury?
I think so.
But that's my hot take.
Yeah, and he has the ball skills too because he played corner for the Niners for a little bit too in his rookie year or whatever. Jimmy Ward had 2 picks last year, which was his career high, but I think I'll say he's gonna double that with 4 to lead the Niners in interceptions this year. All right, you want to hit the next one?
All right, so now we're jumping back over to the offensive side of the ball. The 49ers rushing leader. So this one is obvious because I already said who my breakout player was going to be. Trey Sermon, going to lead the 49ers in rushing yards. And it may not be because he's the best running back on the roster. It may be because of injuries. And it is a bold take because Trey Sermon is also pretty injury prone. But if you saw when Trey Lance played with Trey Sermon, he looked pretty good in that Seattle game with when Trey Lance came into the game. And then I believe, was it the Green Bay game he had over 100 yards rushing? Or was it that Seattle game?
I think it was Seattle.
Either way, I think we're going to see a lot more of Trey Sermon this year. And I'm not saying he's going to have over 1,000 yards, but I'm saying he's going to lead the 49ers in rushing, whether that be 600 yards, maybe 700, whatever.
Yeah, that's a hot one for sure. This one's tough because obviously the easy answer is Eli Mitchell, who I think is going to be the leading rusher this year, of course. But I want to give an extremely hot take and say that Trey Lance will be the second leading rusher. Just because when you watched him against in that Cardinals game, how many times that Shanahan used him to run? I think it was like 16 times or something. But I'm not going to say that because I don't think that is how Shanahan's going to play Trey this year. So my second is going to be Ty Davis-Price, the rookie coming in. He's durable. He's a bigger back. He's going to be a punishing dude. I think we'll use him in like third down, short yardage type stuff. So my second leading rusher is going to be Ty Davis-Price behind Eli Mitchell.
Good take. I agree with that one. I could easily see it happening. I just feel like, it's Trey Sermon's time to show if he's got what it takes. All right, so moving on, we're heading into our last one. The receiving leader of the team this year. Who you got?
So my receiving leader of the team is going to be this one's tough. I'm going to say George Kittle. I think Kittle is going to stay healthy for this year. I think Trey Lance is going to utilize him a lot because Kittle is one of the best tight ends, if not the best tight end in the league. And I think our offense works best when Kittle is involved. Towards the end of the year, we stopped using him for some reason. But when you can get him involved, like in that Bengals game, he's an athlete. He just makes great plays, great catches. He can get the yak. Like when the offense has Kittle involved, that is when it's flowing at its best. So I think George Kittle is going to get back to over 1,000 yards receiving and is going to be the leading receiver for the 49ers.
I like that take. I think a lot of people forget that George Kittle has that receiving potential because of what's happened, with these airmail passes that get him hurt and then he has to miss a bunch of games. Pisses me off, man. But that's a good take. I could realistically see it happening. My receiving leader is going to be Brandon Ayuk. He has that connection with Trey Lance already. Every time Trey Lance played, you saw Brandon Ayuk kind of going off. And then also, if you just throw on the film of Brandon Ayuk, this dude's cooking people every single game, and he's just not getting thrown the ball. So
Well, even in that Cowboys game too, you remember he like burnt that corner, ridiculous. Had like 5, 6, 7 yards of space between him and Jimmy G. Airmails it over his head.
yep. And then think that one touchdown pass he couldn't haul in from Trey Lance. Was it the Houston game? In the end zone, put it right over his
Yeah,
shoulder, just couldn't
yeah.
reel it in. And then if you look back to his rookie year, the dude's just explosive. And then someone did a breakdown on Twitter of the Rams in the NFC Championship game. The dude was open every single play, and Jimmy just was not looking his way at all. So I think Brandon Ayuk gets to wide receiver 1 status this year. I think Debo is going to draw a ton more attention this year from defenses just because that's who they're going to game plan around. So Brandon Ayuk over 1,000, maybe close to 1,200 yards this year
Wow.
receiving. Yep.
Yeah, like I said, I think Kittle will have over 1,000 as well and get back to that all-pro status because, like you said, a lot of people forget. A lot of people, I think, are starting to still view him as just like a blocking tight end. But he has great ball skills. If you remember in the NFC Championship when he went up and got that touchdown, like he mossed that dude, mossed him.
And that's what we never really saw from Kittle until that
Exactly.
play.
And then you go back to the Bengals game when he had that crazy over the shoulder, like one-handed catch. Great ball skills, And even you can run him on like little screens, tight end screens, which the Niners use sometimes, and just get him in space. I think that's something that the Niners are going to have to capitalize on this year with Trey is just getting the players in space, get Debo in space, Ayuk, Kittle, Danny Gray, who's a burner. So just get them in space and let them make some plays. So I think that's going to be key,
And the Kittle play in versus Houston to ice the game, remember?
Yep.
Like 3rd and long, ran the seam, caught the one-handed over the middle.
Yep, exactly. So I think he'll get back to that all-pro status this year and have over 1,000 receiving yards. I wanted to get your thoughts real quick about the Trey Lance tweet that came out saying he doesn't have like arm fitness or something like that. What are your thoughts on that?
All right, we'll dive into that. But one last hot take I wanted to throw on the end, just to get one out there. Where is the 49ers special teams going to rank this year? They probably, I believe, were like 30th last year. Where do you think on the scale this year?
I'm gonna say top 10. I'll say top 10. If you look at our offseason, we brought in our free agent additions were all special teamers for the most part. Ray McLeod, George Odom. Who else did we? Oren Burks. You brought back Jordan Willis, who had the block against Green Bay. So I think definitely think the special teams is going to be drastically improved and will be a top 10 special teams this year for sure. Easy. I think that's not even a hot take. I would say that's pretty easy. And we got rid of the bum special teams coach Richard Hightower. That dude's gone. So I think we're definitely going to have a better special teams this year for sure.
I'll say middle of the pack, 16th, just because new coach got to implement whatever the hell he wants. Don't even think he was that good of a coach. Like when I remember when we brought him in, like just an average coach, nothing special about him. But
Who are you?
the special team coach,
Oh, the one that we brought in
yeah,
from
like
the
he wasn't
Seahawks, right?
Seahawks, and he was Jacksonville's last year.
Yeah, Jacksonville. Okay.
So I'll say 16th, middle of the pack. A lot better, but middle of the pack in the league.
Yeah.
All right. So what was your question?
What are your thoughts on that tweet that came out that Trey Lance is going to struggle with like arm fitness or whatever? And
So
to give some context here before you jump into that, they said arm fitness was like his ability to keep slinging the rock with velocity towards the end of the year. So like fatigue, I guess you could say, is what this guy was saying. He said that he's going to fatigue out towards the end of the year.
So I think the guy was trying to say that maybe last year his arm fatigued throughout the year. Like, I don't know, maybe in practice. I don't know. A lot of people were going crazy, like, "Oh, I've never heard of that." Oh, but I mean, I could see it. You know, Trey is a guy that he isn't a guy that's had to throw 500 plus passes. You know, in a season. He's always been on run first teams. He wasn't really even a quarterback in high school, I believe, until what, like, when did he start playing quarterback? He was like a linebacker or something,
I think
right?
in college. Well, I think he was playing it in high school, but he was also linebacker as well.
Yeah, so you know, he may not be like just a natural passer, and he may have to get his arm up to like that ability to throw that many times in a season. And he isn't going to have to be like those quarterbacks in the league, like who would you say, Stafford or maybe Phillip Rivers, who were throwing like every single play. Um, he's going to be closer to what he did in college, but I could see him having to get his arm stamina up. Not saying it's true what the guy was saying, but I think it's funny how people are like, I've never heard of that. Like, pitchers in baseball can't pitch every night because of that exact reason. Their arm just can't take it. So, I mean, I'm not agreeing with the guy, but I could see that being a thing. I don't really take too much from it, but I think it's funny to just like write it off.
I could see that being a concern too. But on the other side of it, the Niners have never been known to throw more than they run in a game.
Exactly.
You know, Kyle Shanahan is going to run the football, whether it's working or not. Kyle Shanahan is going to run the rock. He's going to try to bully people and bully other teams like we always had. So I don't think it's a very big concern. I could see why people would say it. Like you said, he hasn't thrown the ball a lot lately in the past few years. But we're also not that team that's just going to throw. We're going to run the ball a lot. We're going to run the ball a lot. Playoff games, we run the ball over 40 times. Like, that's what Kyle Shanahan's goal is, to get over 30, 35 rushes a game. So Trey isn't going to have to like throw crazy. I don't think it'll happen, but I could see why he would say that as well. But like we said, we're going to run the rock no matter what. So,
and I think also you gotta, you know, I know they want to try to run Trey a lot, like designed runs, but you know, you don't want him taking hits to the shoulder either, because then you're screwed at that point. And I don't think Trey is really that type of guy to be on real designated runs. I don't think he has like the quick twitch, like explosiveness to just be like a read option type running quarterback. But, you know, if you're getting him on play action rollouts and then it's open space, yeah, the dude has the talent to run. But I don't really like the designed runs for him too much.
I agree. I think it's good though to get him a few of them at least, not 16 like the other. I would say maybe like in the 5 to 6, 7 range, you know, somewhere in there. Get a few designed runs for him like that, but not like 10 plus, you know, nothing like that, because obviously when a quarterback runs, they're out at a greater risk of getting hurt too, like you said. So yeah, I agree.
He's more of like, to me, I think they saw him as more of like a Justin Field, Lamar Jackson, like speed runner type of guy, and maybe even Cam Newton. But I think he's more of like a Deshaun Jackson, you know, like he can get out the pocket and run.
Deshaun Watson.
Deshaun Watson,
like
my
Deshaun
bad.
Yeah, I agree.
Where like he can run if it's open, but like he just doesn't have that quick twitch to like make people miss or run past him.
I agree. Deshaun Watson running style, yeah. And he also needs to learn that he can't truck everybody in the NFL like he used to in college, because Trey Lance was getting rocked a lot when he was running this year because he thought he could run people over. NFL, different beast, can't do that as a quarterback. Also, before we finish here, I just wanted to get your thoughts as well on Chris Sims, controversial guy. He ranked Trey Lance at 31 in his quarterback rankings, just above Sam Darnold, Geno Smith, Tyler Huntley, Davis Mills. He's going to be below who was the guy that the Jets took last year?
Zach Wilson,
Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields isn't on there yet. So he's going to be below a decent amount of quarterbacks. What are your thoughts on that?
I thought it was pretty funny because, throughout the week, I'd be watching a lot of other 49ers content people, and a lot of them were kind of agreeing with them, like, yeah, he made fair points on why he's that low. I think it's terrible. Like, the dude played 2.5 games and showed more in those 2.5 games than almost any of those other rookie quarterbacks other than Mac Jones. And to say there's 30 other quarterbacks in the league better, no, that's terrible. Like, you could say the dude's raw and the dude, he may not be ready, but if he played a full season, he would have done a lot better than most of those, at least in the 20s, whoever he's going to put in the 20s. Like, just terrible. You go back and watch the film.
I don't even see Goff. I don't know if Goff, if he's going to have Goff ahead of him.
Yes. And it's just terrible. Like, if you go back and watch the film, a lot of people lately have been making Trey Lance videos, and I love watching other people break down quarterbacks because, like you said, we're fans. But you see a lot of the passes that he didn't make. You make some slight adjustments to those, bring the ball down a little bit, get a little more accurate, And then even a lot of the passes that were dropped, that one to Ayuk in the end zone over his shoulder. I believe he hit Mohamed Sanu with a dot on like a third down, and he dropped it against the Cardinals.
For a touchdown too.
Yeah, like he hit Debo on a cross or dropped it. And you may say, oh, he's throwing it to him. Man, little tiny adjustments, either the receiver or the quarterback, and nobody would have been complaining about the dude. You know what I mean? That one interception against the Cardinals, he stepped up in the pocket. He had Benjamin wide open. He overthrew him for a pick. Bring it down a little. Nobody's complaining. The dude, and then that play, try to truck Simmons into the end zone. What if he got in? You know what I mean? It's a game of inches. He was a rookie that didn't play the whole year before. Now he's had a full off season. He had a couple games where he got in. I think Chris Sims' take is going to be terrible after this next season. That's what I'll say.
Yeah. And Chris Sims has a breakdown of it on YouTube, but here is his thread of tweets. He said, Trey Lance is one of the hardest guys to rank. I see the talent, his ridiculously strong arm and running expand this offense, but I have questions. He's more of a thrower than a passer. Can 49ers fix his accuracy / mechanics? He has the potential to shoot up this list. Lots of 49er fans probably angry about this one, but worth seeing my whole explanation. I have Jimmy G higher on my list, but 49ers have to go ahead with Lance. Will not be surprised at all to see them back in the NFC Championship game with Trey. Just one more point on Lance. Important to remember my criteria when making this list. Not predicting how good his team will be this year, but where I would take him if I had a generic team with average weapons, i.e. no Shanahan, no Debo. So it sounds like he's saying that the weapons is what's going to make Trey Lance be good. Like the Shanahan scheme, the Debo, the Kittle, that's what it sounds like he's saying. I agree with you. I think that's going to be way off by the end of the year. And yeah.
And it's funny. It's funny you say he says that, because put Jimmy G on that same average team, and that dude's ass. That dude had the best team, and you could argue one of the best offenses in the NFL talent-wise. And this dude's tanking games. You put on that Titan game. He literally threw that game. The dude, that's what I'm saying, man. That's a terrible take. I don't
Imagine
care.
if just leave the team. But imagine if the 49ers didn't have Deebo Samuel last year with Jimmy G. We would have lost so many games. So many games. So like you said, if you put Jimmy G on an average team, it's not going to look great. A lot of quarterbacks aren't going to look great. There's those few, like 4, 5, 6 quarterbacks that will make any team around them good. But besides them, a lot of players with just like an average team aren't going to be that good. So that's what I have to say on that.
Yeah, and you had Zach Wilson and Fields, Trevor Lawrence. They were throwing like 3 picks a game at some point, a couple of them. Mac Jones even, I'm pretty sure, threw 3 picks in one game.
Yep.
Just, it's funny. I could see why you're trying not to be risky putting them that low. Like, it's just a bad take, in my opinion.
Yep. All righty. This pod's going to be a little bit shorter than our usual. Do you have any closing thoughts?
We're hopping into OTAs next week. I believe the media is going to be there on Tuesday. Is that the only day they're allowed?
I'm not sure, but I know Tuesday will be like the first time in a while that they were allowed to like go in the locker room and stuff.
So it'll be good to see everyone back in the building. It's all the drama and stuff. It's getting bad at this point. We just need to get these people at the building, start getting some team stuff going on. It's going to be a fun off season. I'm actually excited for the preseason this year. See, what's the O-line going to look like? Who's going to come out of the wide receiver room? Who's going to make the team on that D-line?
Yep.
It's going to be a fun off season. I'm glad football's getting close. It's getting boring without it. I was thinking, I'm about to finish my schooling. Might start doing like a Wednesday pod as well, maybe Wednesday or Thursday, I don't know if you can join me for that one, but see if we could start pumping out a little bit more content for you guys so we're not waiting a full week and then we have to shove everything into one video. But yeah, that's it. That's all I got.
Yep. Like we said, stay tuned. We're trying to provide this good coverage for you guys, Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Go check out the Tarell Brown interview, the Jason Poe interview, any of the other videos that we got up to. They're all good. They're all good stuff. Let us know some of your guys' hot takes on the team. Let us know if you agree, disagree, some different players. Let us know. Let us know in the comments. Besides that, y'all have a good one. We'll see you again later.
Peace.
Send it back. Money.